How did you actually discover bodybuilding?
I had a family trying to pull me towards the concrete business and be something that I wasn't really in favor of, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do and thought I wanted to be a police officer. I still was uncertain. I dedicated myself to bodybuilding with the mindset of not necessarily becoming the greatest bodybuilder. I was a huge fan of cartoon characters, whether it be Spider-Man or Superman or these kind of characters. And I remember picking up magazines when I was 12. I saw Chris Dickerson, former Mr. Olympia. I thought, wow, I want to look like that because that kind of rivaled what I thought as like superhero type physiques. Little did I realize how far it would actually take me. I didn't know much history. I kind of read about Arnold a little bit. So I knew I dedicated myself to the gym and I loved every minute of it. And I felt better when I was in the gym. I saw progress. And when I saw people like Flex Wheeler, Chris Cormier, actors like Keanu Reeves training at the Gold Gym, Mecca Bodybuilding. Of course, being from Massachusetts, living out in California for, a week or two or whatever I was out there, I was like, wow, I'm under the sun and the beaches and everything else. And it just seemed like it for me. And that's when I knew I wanted to dedicate my life to it. It was 99 cents for gasoline at the time. And I remember I used to scrounge up change and I would put $2 of gas in my truck just to drive to the gym. And so many times I ran out of gas on the way home because I didn't have enough. But all I cared about was going to the gym. I didn't care if I made it home, but I would be running close to E all the time, but I was going to the gym and that was the most important part. So I didn't have money, but I was able to go to the gym every day. Then once I got on stage, I was coached into competing at the age of 18, about 6 months after training. I had to win something in order to get noticed. And fortunately for me, I won teenage nationals and then I won a show at 22 and then I turned pro my first time out at 23. I was marketed positively by Joe Weider, and he created that first step. I was paid to endorse his supplements, and from then it just snowballed and the brand was built.
Do you feel like the sport is lacking something with the absence of Kai?
Kai Greene's a character. Kai Greene's his own character. And I don't mean that in any kind of harsh way, but he's created this branding where he's inspirational to so many people and he's got so many other talents. It's time for him to expose those other talents. He couldn't really speak his mind as much and be who he was. I think he's going to find a more comfortable place now for him off the stages and not be restrictive. And whether it be in film work or whatever, he's doing some comic stuff, it doesn't really matter. Kai Greene's going to do what Kai Greene does and he's going to be great at it because you know why? He has passion. And you can't do anything the best of your ability without having passion.
Now, you actually built an empire, though, around being the second place finisher until finally destroying it.
It's funny looking back now because I've been on the sidelines and I've kind of watched what goes on and, listened to all the fan appeal and everything else a little more instead of being so competitive in my mind. And I understand now those second place finishes, as frustrating as they were, really kind of built what it was. For the setup for when I did win. I gained a lot of great fans, and then being the champion for 2 years, then losing the title, being kind of written off, and then coming back and winning the thing. I mean, when they had contenders, Phil Heath, you were a contender that year.
That's right.
You guys were supposed to win in 2009. I came back and won.
You destroyed everybody that year.
Yeah,
I remember.
So it was, those kind of things where, you become the champ, then the fans start to turn. They want to see you defeated, then you lose, and then you're like, it's almost like a second coming of what you do.
I've been in Kai Greene's position, and I know the frustration. I would have held on, and I would have kept pushing because Kai Greene and Phil Heath, Phil Heath was the winner, but Kai Greene was right there in popularity.
What would you say bodybuilding means to you?
Bodybuilding is an art. We go in the gym, we use the mirrors to judge and carve and shape. We work to the pumps, and we work to increase our arm size or leg size, whatever it may be. And that allows us to be able to create that art form. And ideally, we're trying to put a physique together that's complete, the condition, the shape, the symmetry, all those things to build a perfect sculpture. And that's what I see bodybuilding as. I call it a sport, I call it a hobby, I call it a career. But I think of us as artists as probably the best term. I was 290 pounds at my biggest, 300 pounds. When I walked in the room, people took notice. People say, why do you want to be that big? And truthfully, I wanted to be that big because I wanted to be competitive, not because I truly, I wasn't one of these guys I want to hit 300 pounds. It wasn't my goal. My goal was to beat Ronnie Coleman, and I knew I had to be damn big to beat him. People that frowned upon it, but there was a lot of great supporters too, because they knew the dedication and the commitment. If they knew the dedication and it's social media, it was magazines, I think Generation Iron was a real eye-opener for people to understand the inside of bodybuilding. And listen, it's not just about going to the gym every day and beating your head against the wall with weights. It's all a lifestyle. I mean, that's what I created. You know, it's kind of like careful what you wished for, and now I'm busier than I ever was. Bodybuilding is not Jay Cutler, Kai Greene, Phil Heath only. Bodybuilding can be to some guy that's 160 pounds that used to be 110 pounds and has some sort of muscle definition. Generation Iron, it influenced a lot of people for fitness, a positive way. Just living my life, like I'm going on vacations and I'm spending more time with my family and my friends, and I can honestly say I'm retired, but I'm still working because I'm doing what I love to do. I created a great life. I can do a lot with that. You know, that level still to a lot of people is great. You know, I continue to spread the word of health, fitness, wellness, whatever it is, because now I can stand in front of audiences. When I used to stand there at 300 pounds, it was just a vice of like, I gotta escape reality. And I would go in the gym, and that's what made me love it so much. And to this day, I can still tell you, I'm 43 years old, the best part of my day is still going to the gym.
Generation Iron 2.